One of the biggest questions we get all the time, regardless of where people are looking to retire from, is, I have this option, Mike. I can take the pension from a company or I can take the lump sum. And for our conversation purposes, we're going to say that, someone's lump sum is $500,000. Everyone's figure is going to be different. But when you take a look at a pension, from a company, what is a pension? A pension's an annuity designed to do what? Provide you lifetime income. But who's on the hook? Well, the company is to provide lifetime income. And we talked about earlier, how corporations are finding ways to basically get out of pension plans. They're filing bankruptcy. People are getting $2,400. Now they're getting half of that. Again, that's the risk. If you take the pension from a company, is that company, if you work there 30 years, I always ask the question, is it the same company that you started with? Is it the same company today? And everyone astoundingly says, no, it's not. And not for the good from that standpoint. And what's the next 10, 15, 20 years have in store for you in your retirement when you need that money? So again, if you take the pension from the company, that's the risk that you take. It could be reduced. But let's take a look at the options. If you have a single life only, they always give that to you as an option. By all means, do not choose this if you're married. We had one person who was married and didn't realize that he chose the single life only option. And if something would have happened to him, his wife would have gotten zero. But let's say for conversation purposes, you are single and you have $2,200 on a monthly basis. Well, something happens to you. If you choose single life only, as far as anything going to your beneficiaries, nothing goes to your beneficiaries, okay? This is designed to provide you a lifetime income once you pass away. If it's 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, and you pass away, and you had a $500,000 lump sum, who gets to keep that pension? Well, the company does. So that's one of the concerns that you have when you take the pension versus lump sum. If something happens to you prematurely, whatever money's left over doesn't go to your beneficiaries, it goes back to the company. Now, if you're married, we typically recommend, if you're looking at the pension, 100% joint and survivor, okay? And what this allows you to do is if something would happen to you, your spouse will get the same type of income, but they're going to do a reduction. Let's say it's $2,000 on a monthly basis. Well, we have $2,000 on a monthly basis. First question I always ask people, folks, can that $2,000 ever go down? And the answer is yes. If we look at GM, we look at the Hoover Company, we look at other corporations out there where people are getting X amount of dollars, now they're getting a reduction. Okay, so that $2,000, that's the risk that you take. So, but again, if something happens to you, your spouse continues to get that $2,000, assuming there's no reduction, from the company. But again, if something happens to you or your spouse, what goes to your beneficiaries? Again, zero goes to your beneficiaries. Okay, so that's one of the big rubs that we see from a lot of people that work 25, 30 years at a company. Is like, you know what? I've worked my entire career to help this company. I want to create a legacy for me and my family. So what a lot of people will do is they'll take a look at the lump sum as an option. Now, one thing I'll talk about over here, if you take a pension, and I use a basketball analogy, and we're in basketball season, springtime, it's going to be baseball, etc. But we got billions and billions of dollars inside this pension fund. And the majority of people that we work with end up doing lump sum, okay? So, and a lot of companies today aren't putting money back into the pension plan, okay? So we got billions and billions of dollars flowing out of this pension plan. New hires don't get money put into the pension. And eventually, this pension is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, okay? Another sport I like to play, it's a little ball with dimples, golf, if you will. And eventually, as this pension plan, as people continue to retire and take in the lump sum, this pension plan is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And those that continue to have the pension, you even have a greater risk because there's less money into the pension fund. So again, keep that in mind if you decide to take the pension from the company. How solvent is it? I mean, it might be solvent right now, but 20, 30 years down the road, it may not be there with all these people taking access to the lump sum. Now, if you take a lump sum, one of the big concerns is, Mike, I have a guarantee over here. What's the guarantee? To provide lifetime income. We can also provide guaranteed lifetime income as well, okay? Guaranteed income for life for both you and your spouse, okay? Now, people say, well, how can you do that? Well, basically, you have to use annuities that are designed to provide lifetime income, okay? The only time you use an annuity is to really provide guaranteed income. Again, people don't want to get into a situation here, if something happens to you and your spouse, the company gets to keep it, where you can basically roll this money over, this lump sum, you're going to roll that over into an IRA, okay? And we use different annuities depending on the company and what you're trying to look for that can provide guaranteed lifetime income, okay? This is now your money, okay? And if something should happen to you and whatever you don't use, where does that go? It goes to your kids, it goes to your beneficiaries, okay? And again, it's your money, so again, if we need to access more money, we have that flexibility. And it's just like my radio show, your money matters, okay? And it does matter because at the end of the day, this is now your money. If you take the lump sum, this gives you that opportunity to provide that flexibility, but more importantly, provide a guaranteed income for you and your spouse for as long as you live. And whatever you guys don't use, whatever you don't use goes to your kids, goes to your beneficiaries. And that's one of the most important things. And that's what a lot of people want. You know, they don't want to put the money in the market, okay? Because this market, you know, was going up, now it's coming down, down, down again. And, you know, I don't want to lose what I've worked so long and hard for. And again, not tied to the market, can provide guaranteed income. So regardless of what ends up happening, you're not losing a dime, but again, gives you that flexibility that knows regardless if I'm 60, 65, what my income is going to be for the rest of my life. So again, we cover these specific topics to help educate you. And again, if you want to attend one of our upcoming events, you can go to thepensiongroup.com/events. Or if you want to get a copy of our book, Retire from Honda Financially Free, you can go to retirefromhonda.com to download your complimentary copy.